Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another edition of Raising Vibration Radio and Journey into Consciousness. I'm one of your hosts, Reverend Raven, and Tammy Licente in Richmond, Virginia is hanging out there. And then we have a special guest tonight. Tammy, would you like to introduce our special guest?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have Lisa Marks. She's a good friend of mine that I'm really excited to have on and share her experience in many, many modalities. She's actually an energy healer for me that I go to personally. Good evening, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for showing up. This is wonderful. I'm actually really excited to get more of a background on everything that you do. I've been enjoying your energy work and your beautiful table and the crystal pyramid.
My biomat.
Your biomat for, I think, about a year now. It's been close to that. And I knew that you did regression work, but I really didn't realize everything else that you did. Could you just kind of bring us up to speed on your background?
Okay. I am, by day, I am a teacher still in the school system. Hoping to phase that out in the next couple of years. But I am a religious science minister, which means that I'm a minister of science of mind, which is a philosophy that says your thought creates your reality. And what you see going on in your life is a direct result of how you think. And it teaches the tools to be able to think in a direction that is more positive and life affirming.
Excellent.
So I've been doing that. I've been a minister, an ordained minister of religious science since 2003. Wow. And I'm also a credentialed counselor. And I do inner child and grief work and relationship. But as I said to you earlier, relationship is all about self. And everything you do is about the relationship with yourself. It all stems from there, especially the inner child work, because that's the relationship with that little part of you that is still very much in control. It can be your saboteur or it can be your best friend.
Yep.
So, and then, yes, the energy work. I've been doing that since probably I was 19 or 20. Wow. My dad had a cousin in California who was a spiritual healer, and his name was Saul. And Saul was really my first teacher because he called one night and I got to speak to him because my dad said, and I had never heard of Saul before, but he had said, oh, this cousin, he's right up your alley, and I had cut my eyes with my contact lenses. Because remember, in those days, they were all hard lenses.
Hard, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I would cut my eyes. I had fallen asleep and cut my eyes. And he said, I can heal that. And within 3 minutes, my eyes were back to normal.
Amazing. I love it.
And he said to me, do you know that you have healing hands? And I said, I don't even know what that means. So from there, he kind of took me under his wing. And I never met the man.
That's when you were in your late teens?
Yeah, I would have to say I was maybe 19 or 20.
Yeah.
At the time. And I had always had an interest in this stuff. I don't know why. So, now on my dad's side of the family, there was Saul, who was the spiritual healer. And on my mom's side of the family, she had an aunt and uncle that were Christian scientists. Oh. And Christian science and science of mind are very closely related. So anyway.
That is so funny because my family on my mom's side was the Church of Science that you're talking about in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
Yeah. So, wow, that's truly amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. So Saul was my first teacher, and he had a healer in spirit called Big Eagle. And he gave Big Eagle.
Big Eagle. Mm-hmm.
Big Eagle was his spirit guide. And he gave me access to Big Eagle. And I started and told me what to do and how to use them. So one day I was with a friend of mine who was pregnant and she was having growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided, I said, hey, I bet I can, get rid of that for you. And I did. She felt it. I felt it. It freaked us both out. And I put the healing away for like 20 years. I didn't
Really?
I really honestly, yeah. I didn't come back to it until I was in my 40s. So,
but because that freaked you out?
Yeah. It did.
Really? That's really interesting.
Yeah. We have to consider I was pretty young, and I had not grown up in this background at all,
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I always find people's stories so interesting, just different things that happen. Okay, so you put everything down for 20 years, and then what happened?
Then I got involved in A Course in Miracles with Dan O'Neill. He was doing it at that time as well. And from there, people who were going to the course started going to religious science, started taking these classes. And I thought, what is this about? So I found out. And within taking 2 classes, I knew I was going to become a minister.
Really?
Yeah. So I did.
So what did that look like, being a minister of that?
I always say I'm a teacher, not a preacher.
Yeah.
So, having a church was not number 1 on my list. But I ended up with a center, and I did do a monthly service there. But it was really a center for people to come and inner peace, find inner peace. It was a very peaceful place. And I realized today that the reason I called it inner peace was because that's what I needed to learn. So I had it for like 12 years, 12 years, and it had its heyday, and it was great. So that's where I started. I picked up healing again. I attended something that piqued my interest again, and then I picked it up, and ever since then I've been doing the healing, but that's really expanded because I now am a Reiki practitioner, and I have studied medical intuition because I felt like I was doing that. Like I'm able to give information.
Yeah.
So with that, I had a desire to learn about regression.
Yeah.
Because I had people who were coming to me and wanted to be, taken back to childhood or look at childhood traumas or whatever. So I wanted to learn regression, so I knew how to do that because I felt like, or had the experience of people going much further than childhood, and I wanted to know how to handle it. So I've been doing
experiencing that with clients prior to actually studying it.
And I always had a fascination for regression. Always, past lives, always. So, so it's something that I do that I really love, and I consider everything that I do to be sacred work. The only reason for me to do anything is for the healing aspects of it, and that's what regression is for me as well. It's where what needs to be healed from some other time and place, that's going to help you to be more present today in your life. Because I believe that we carry our past lives in our DNA. And I also believe that we are on a continuum, and everything we've ever been or ever will be, we are now. So who's to say that our next lifetime wouldn't be 1543 versus 2243.
Well,
You
there
know,
you
that
go.
we go somewhere along this continuum where we need to heal.
I am
Yeah.
so going to Downton Abbey then, okay?
Yeah. Well, I have a deep desire to go to the English countryside
Me
because
too.
I think I would recognize it, and I think I would feel very at home there. Yeah.
Oh no, I want to be in a castle being waited on with
Yes.
with a title. How groovy is that?
Yes, but with modern conveniences
Yeah,
like
I was
toilets.
just thinking you couldn't wait on me enough or give me enough baths to want to go back to that period. Like, I'm just thinking, just the smell alone, I don't think I could get past, like, of myself.
Well,
you know what I mean? Back then?
Yep.
I mean,
Yes.
it sounds great in theory, and it was so many amazing times, but I think we have become quite spoiled with a lot of modern conveniences.
Girls, that's
Yeah.
what they had perfume for back in those days.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm highly allergic to perfume today.
It may be.
I can't breathe around it, so maybe.
So, you know, on the whole continuum thing, and you know, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. And you know, the more you embark on this journey, the more you come to realize that the healing is all about your own healing, and in doing that healing, you're healing the collective that you then perceive, right? And you were talking about that continuum, like who's to say you don't go back to 15 or wherever, but I would, you know, I guess it would seem to be that you're just going to, that's why you should probably, if it's coming into your consciousness in this lifetime, I would guess, why you should address it when it shows up. So no matter where you land in any continuum,
Right.
The aspects that came up in this one,
and you know, if you've had along the way, if you've had fear of things that you don't understand, or that so-called deja vu with things, or you know, just anything that seems like, you know, I don't understand why this is going on, or patterns that you carry.
What do you think deja vu is? I'm just curious. When you get deja vu, what is your take on that?
I don't think I've ever really thought about it that deeply, but deja vu is like, oh, I've done this already. You know, I've been here before. I recognize this. You know, yeah, or a person. You know, or that you meet for the first time, and it's like, oh,
I know you.
Yeah. Well, yep. And it can either be a good thing or a not good thing.
This is true.
Because I had somebody come into my center one night to a Science of Mind class. He walked in the door. I took one look at him and something shot through me. Yeah. And it did not feel good. Yeah. Yeah. But it took me 2.5 years to get that message. So, but yeah.
To get that message. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
But I've also had the very beautiful, like you just know instantly, like there's a kinship that is, there's no words to describe, you know?
Right. Right.
So
I have a question already.
Okay.
Okay, so can you talk more about the correlation between relationship issues and the relationship with oneself?
Okay. So all relationship is a mirror. All of our relationships are mirrors to us. They mirror places in us where we're not whole, or where we, you know, where maybe we are, and we recognize that. And so in any work that you do, whether it's because of a relationship or it's because you recognize you're not happy, you recognize things in your life that are not making you happy, it's not about anybody else or anything else. It's about you. It's about your relationship with you. So in healing that relationship, all else stems from there. And that's my belief.
I got you. So if you're having like a discord with a relationship, that doesn't even have to be a lover. It can be like a
Right.
child
Anybody.
or anybody, right? And there's a discord. Really, what you're recognizing is a discord in yourself where you need to work on your inner self.
Hopefully, some people recognize that and some people do not. And then they wonder why they repeat the same patterns over and over and over again. But once you get a clue that it's really about something that's going on with you or that's within you, you heal that. Whether the person, the relationship changes or not, you've changed. So that relationship has changed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And these discords that we have within ourselves, is that mostly just fear of something that we might have experienced in a past life? Or something even in this lifetime?
It could be from a past lifetime, and it could be from this lifetime, or it could be from a past lifetime that's not healed that we've carried into this lifetime to heal. Like it's up for healing. When you're really, really uncomfortable in your life, it's up for healing.
Gotcha. That totally makes sense. I'm fully aware of that. So, in order to, when you have that discomfort, what would be like your suggestions for first steps for our listeners that are listening in to work on that discord within themselves?
To be gentle with yourself, to give yourself a break, to do things for yourself that make you feel good. There's an author, Julia Cameron. She wrote a book called The Artist's Way. And she says to take yourself on an artist date. And those artist dates are really about your inner child, taking that part of you out and have some fun. And remember what it was like to be joyful in your life. Because, that's what goes by the wayside a lot of time is we forget that we can play and have fun. And we're being called to do that more and more, especially now.
Big time.
So take a bubble bath, light some candles, listen to some music, watch a movie that brings you to tears or that makes you laugh.
I love that idea. Leah says hello, if you know Leah.
Leah. Hi, Leah.
Yeah, Leah says hi. And Barb says that was one of my favorite books. So just to let you know some of the comments out there. So
yeah. So great.
So you were wanting to probably talk a little bit about how our consciousness is affecting the planet as a whole and some things that were on your heart that you really wanted to express in regards to that. I mean, I would love to, if you're ready, to start opening up that conversation, Lisa.
Okay. All right. So one of my favorite authors is Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote the Conversations with God books. And those are my Bibles. When I first was reading him, I was taking science of mind classes, and I thought, well, God is very science of mind. But one of my favorite things that he says in his book is that there's only one of us in the room. And you stop and think about that. There's only one of us in the room. That's saying we are all one. But we really struggle with that as a whole, as a global community, because we think we're separate.
Mm-hmm.
And the separatism is what is really, I believe, causing everything that's going on in our world that is not blissful and joyful and peaceful and all of that. And if we only realized that there was one of us in the room, then perhaps the discord would go and we could be in peace, because then we'd be working hand in hand with one another. So how do you get there? You know,
Yeah.
that again, that comes back to you. So it starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you are happy in your life, find things to be happy about, praying for other people, being of service where you can be of service. That's where we come together. It seems like we need big things to happen in order to remember that we are not alone on this planet, that we are here to help one another. Things like 9/11, things like tsunamis, things like COVID. If we, just realized that we are powerful in ourselves and we can affect change just by being who we are, then we would have a much different world than we have now. And I honestly believe that.
I
So
agree.
staying away from the news, not taking things, so seriously, being open to seeing things the way you want them to be. All those things can help to affect change. But just coming back to that one thing, and this, I remind myself of this on a daily basis. There's only one of us in the room. We are all one. And just by doing what we need to do to heal ourselves, we heal others. Because the things that we are healing within ourselves, we're not alone in it. Others are experiencing similar things, not exactly walking our path, but similar things.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we heal the world individual by individual, and help each individual to come up in consciousness as we go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. I think one of the things that might be helpful for some listeners, depending on where they're at in their journey of healing, I remember hearing repetitively through the years, there's only one of us, and if you spot it, you got it. Whatever you when you're reacting to somebody, it's showing you something about yourself.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that it took me a long time to understand and learn, because first of all, my ego would always jump up because I would be appalled or offended or outraged about something. I was having a very dramatic, polarized response to something. And in the beginning of coming into awareness of that, I felt very justified in whatever my response was. And I felt entitled to my emotion, the emotion that, like, let's say I felt offended, right? I felt like somebody just completely offended me. I felt attached to and entitled to my offendedness. Like I deserved to hold on to my offendedness. And it took me years to understand, one, me feeling offended, what was that really about? It was much, much deeper. So that was one aspect that I kind of learned. And that also when people were trying to teach me that it was a reflection of me, it was really teaching me like I might be seeing behavior that is not mirroring me. What it was showing me is the deep emotional response that came from a child almost always. That behavior was pulling up and invoking in me. So it was hard for me in the beginning to differentiate like that mirror thing, like what, it was causing a response within me that I've started to learn to sit with, Anyways, I was just curious, is that like a good way to look at it from your perspective, or do you look at it differently?
So I look at it like the more that I become aware of my reactions, and so there's a difference between reacting and responding. When we react, we are reacting in the same old way. That's a button, that's a trigger, probably from childhood that you're carrying. Okay. And so you react like it's a spontaneous combustion out there, whatever. But as we become more attuned to ourselves and to that part of ourselves, that child that's still there, and we're more conscious and aware of it, then we can start to respond. The child reacts, the adult responds. I mean, you've seen people who have reacted to things, and in your mind, you've gone, oh my God, they're like a 2-year-old, right? So that's the way that's always been how they've, dealt with the world, because there's some kind of inner button. And you have to get to a point where you're asking yourself, how does that serve me? Or does it serve me? Or it no longer serves me. It may have served me at one time, but it's not serving me now. It's not getting me what I want. It's not making me happy. It's not, it's not the way I want to be in the world anymore.
Exactly. Well, and in doing the work ourselves, we really are changing the collective.
Yes, I absolutely believe that.
I believe that wholeheartedly as well. Sand, what do you got going on?
Oh, I'm having fun in the chat here, getting some interesting things going on. So there's Leah met you at the Tampa Bay Expo that we did together. So she just wanted to let you know that she wanted to drop in and say hi.
Hello, Leah.
And she was tagging her sister-in-law to this show. And then I was having fun with Jeff Saunders, who is
oh my gosh,
Lisa.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, did you know you're talking to a bird? So I said, oh, I love talking to birds. I just sent you a friend request. So
okay, I'm completely lost. Who's Jeff Saunders and what's the bird? What's the joke?
I guess the bird is me, because you guys are talking to a bird.
You know you're talking to a bird.
Well, first of all, I'm totally impressed that Jeff is listening. Totally impressed.
Who is Jeff?
Jeff is somebody I've known since I was probably 17, 18.
Oh, that's amazing.
We've been close friends over the years, and he had a hard time with my changes. When I started getting into all of this, he had a really hard time with it. So I'm just so
very
surprised.
Interesting that Jeff is on the show this evening.
I know. But
hello, Jeff. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, he's somebody that I've always deeply loved. So whether he agreed with me or not,
Oh, that's beautiful. I love
Aw,
How
so funny.
sweet.
That
Well,
Yeah.
is
that's good.
really kind of super sweet. Come on, Jeff. You have nothing else to say?
Well, we'll
Oh,
see if
I'm
he pops
sure.
up in here. In a
I'm
few
sure he does. So too funny. That's too funny.
So, Sandy, you wanted to embark on the conversation about inner peace a little bit.
I do. It kind of, again, it goes along with this conversation we're already having, that, if we recognize discord in other people, really we're a fruitcake lady. Okay. Whatever that means, Jeff, you can call me the fruitcake lady if you want. I'm okay with that. Anyway, the, the inner peace is really what, if we all reach out to look for that inner peace, I have a feeling that the whole world is going to resolve its own issues in that self. Because if we all have that inner, oh, not you, Lisa. Lisa, you're the fruitcake.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
So, I want to dive into that inner peace. Do you have a routine for yourself for achieving that? I mean, it's a lot of work to achieve inner peace, isn't it?
Yeah. So for me, this has been life changing over the last 2.5 years. No, yeah, 2.5 years. Finding gratitude in my life. Finding gratitude has brought me inner peace. And the best example I can give of that is the process that I went through to buy the house I'm living in now. So I'd had a really bad experience in a townhouse that I lived in, and I had to get out of that townhouse because I didn't feel safe there. So, and I thought I had to do a short sale on the townhouse, and I thought, I'm never going to buy again because it's too hard to get out if you need to. So I just rented for the past 10 years. I rented a house. And all of a sudden, that inner voice said, well, maybe you want to look. Maybe you just want to look and see if you can even afford to buy a house. So I started doing a process that my friend and mentor, Catherine Lehman, got me doing with writing out what I wanted as if it had already happened. And I did that religiously for about 4 months. And I started looking at houses, and in the process of doing this writing, I was looking, and I just got into a space of real gratitude because I knew it was going to show up. And I wasn't like, what's the word? I wasn't in a hurry. I wasn't chomping at the bit. I wasn't afraid. I just knew that if I kept at it, the right place was going to show up. So when I got this house, and I've been here almost 2 years, every day that I'm in this house, I marvel at the miracles that got me here, and just stay in that place of gratitude. And with gratitude brings inner peace. It just does.
Yes, it does.
It's like, look what I did. If I can do this, if I can manifest this, what else can I manifest? So
that is awesome. Just let's see here. Leah wants to know, does Reiki play a part of achieving that inner peace for you?
I know that when I do Reiki with other people, that I benefit. So the answer to that would be yes. That's, you always get the first fruits of whatever it is that you're doing for somebody else. So yeah, Reiki is calming, and I do use it for myself as well.
Beautiful.
So I would say yes.
All right. And then Jeff has commented, I'm glad I know you, Lisa. Oh, how sweet.
Oh, I'm glad
Very
I know you, Jeff.
and that's good too. It's nice to have those people that we don't communicate with all the time just pop up in and out of our lives every once in a while. Just to
Yeah.
check off and say, hey, remember me? I was still here and I got your back. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
That
we
was
are Facebook
really
friends. We do
interesting.
keep in touch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you say healing the multidimensional you, what are you inferring when you imply that?
All phases and factions and everything that you've ever been or will be, all of it to come into alignment.
Mm-hmm.
To feel happy in your life. And so we are multi-dimensional beings.
Oh, I agree.
We aren't just, we're not just navigating here in the physical. There's other aspects of us that are all around us and out there, our higher selves and all of that. That's part of the multi-dimensional us.
Exactly.
So,
I thought for people who might not, there's many aspects of us. So like soul retrieval stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I'm saying multidimensional, really, I'm thinking about the things that I have to offer, by way of counseling and energy and regression, those things. Those are part of the multidimensional self that engage in healing.
I find it really interesting. If you don't mind, I'm going to share something that happened in working.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. So I think I'm pretty sure it was last summer. And you had done a session on me and you asked me if I had any abdominal pain or something like that. And I was like, yes, I do get abdominal pain. And you said, well, does it feel like stabbing pain? And I said, yes, as a matter of fact, that's how I describe it quite often. It literally felt like I was being stabbed. So you said, well, you had seen that I had most likely had an incarnation where I had been stabbed in the abdomen. And that's why were bringing it up. I share this right now because I also had symptoms that presented physically that I lived with, that stabbing pain was reoccurring, right? That I had for a really long time. And very, very soon after getting off your table, that just went away in my life. And it was a very significant thing. And I just thought I would share that because I was like, that's a multidimensional thing. That was something that I don't know from where it all came. Then it was presenting in my body and stuff, but it was amazing that I was just there for one of the regular sessions. So maybe can you speak to that a little bit? Like, I thought that was quite amazing. I went in for a regular energy session and you brought forth things like that. And you've also talked about seeing my guides in the room. And I just thought maybe if we could, go into that a little bit more so people can have a better understanding of all the different things that can happen just as a result of going and having energy work done. I mean, that was just a normal visit with you. So I thought it was quite
So one of the things that I've had to learn to do is to be comfortable with saying what I think or what I'm getting from somebody, whether it's the truth or not, like not being afraid of being wrong. If I say this is what I'm feeling or this is what I see, or but I get pretty strong feelings, for lack of a better word, when I know I've hit on something. And so I just knew for you that that's what I was putting together, was that you had been stabbed, and this was your opportunity to release it. You know, because things come up to be healed.
To be healed, yes.
So that was up for you.
I've just been grateful, but yeah.
Yeah. So when I get information, which is why I studied the medical intuition, because I was getting information and like not sure what to do with it or if I trusted saying it. But that has helped me to understand the body better, for one thing, and for another thing, to be comfortable saying what I think is there. And when I work on someone, if I get those hits, I tell them or ask them. I had somebody on the table, this has been several years ago, and I kept seeing in the corner, I kept seeing this like a silhouette of a little girl. And so I said to her, "Are you pregnant?" And she said, "No, I'm not aware that I'm pregnant." And then the next time that she came back, I was like, "Guess what?" She was pregnant. So that was just a hit that I got. I you know, for to risk being a fruitcake, I do sense other people in the room with me, and I try to get a sense of whether it's male or female, if it's a guy, if it's a whatever, and then I will relay that, or somebody's mother is there, or somebody's whoever, and I will relay that I'm feeling that. And sometimes I get messages and I relay the messages. So,
and it's been a process coming into being comfortable doing that, correct?
Yes. But I totally am willing at this point to say what I feel and, you know, what I'm feeling. You know, at any given moment during a session, if I feel so, I usually wait until the end, because usually people who get on the table drift out somewhere, you know?
Yes, we do.
So I don't want to disturb that. So I wait until the end, usually wait until the end to say something.
Yeah. I've always appreciated everything that you've shared with me, and found it very valid and beneficial. So I just want to applaud you for saying it. You know, it can be uncomfortable sometimes, you know, just sharing things that you get, but I think you've been dead on with me. That's my experience. So, and I've been grateful for it. Do we have anything else in the chat? I can see if there's anything. It's hard for me to look at that in Inner Peace, Richmond.
No, that was just sharing where Lisa's website was. Okay. And then Nathaniel is asking any messages for him. But we're not doing that kind of show tonight, Nathaniel. Yeah. We're just talking and sharing information, stuff like that. I saw on your website that you happen to like the same book I do, the Soul, The Sun and the Soul by Neil Donald Walsh. I love that book. I read it over and over again when my first husband passed away. And I really... So to me, you believe we have soul contracts then, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So what was
we come in with contracts.
What was the book that that you guys were just talking about?
The Little Soul in the Sun.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's a book that I refer to often with my counseling clients, because the message is so clear. That's that book.
The grandbaby's bedtime story.
Yes. Yes. You know, and for those who may not know, that story is about a little soul who is ready to come back to Earth and wants to learn about the part of himself that is forgiveness. And another little soul steps up and says, well, I will be the one who teaches you that that lesson in essence. But when I do the worst to you that I can do, don't forget who I am, or we're both sunk.
Yes.
And God says, I send you nothing but angels.
Angels. Oh, I just got bumps.
I love that book.
So, and if you could see that everybody who comes into your life, good, bad, or indifferent, are there to show you something about yourself, then they're angels for you.
Yes, and if we could just keep that mindset, wouldn't that then that in itself would just change the entire world? But
right.
Yes.
But just, also acknowledging that we chose to be here in body. We chose to be human. And so we are here to deal with the things that are of humanness to deal with,
Yes.
I think often we don't really look at the amazing feat of even being human and the level of master alchemists that we are, just in the fact that we are in the physical and we have a human life that we chose to express physically. It's amazing to me how lost we can get away from, even when, I know for like us, we all tend to pay attention to things like this quite a bit, and we can still lose sight of it in the midst of getting caught up in the world. It's astonishing to me. So
Earth is not for sissies.
No, it is not. It is not for the weak. I do not believe.
No.
There's some pretty cutting edge, love the roller coaster amusement park rides. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
it's a very big playpen. So
the Wild Wild West.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jeff says, doesn't truth and honesty come with age and maturity? I know it did with me.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I think that as we get older and more confident in who we are, that we are less afraid, to say things and to be true to ourselves. And
I think that life is just pretty amazing too, because we also get to know ourselves as we, the older we get, the more we actually know ourselves. When I was in my 20s, I didn't really know who I was. I was still discovering who I was. I think as we get older, we know more of who we are, and it's on some levels it can be easier to stand in our truths, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I have to disagree. There's some young people hitting this planet right now
there
that
are.
know their truth.
There's some really powerful ones.
Yes, they are. I have to give that to them.
They're coming in that way.
Yes, they are. They know that stuff. And they're coming right at us.
So imagine what they're going to be like as beings as they get older.
Right?
I know, right?
Right. They're going to be even more conscious than we have been along the way. I mean, I feel like, there are some areas of consciousness that I would love to be more in tune with than I am. And so sometimes it's a frustration.
Such as, can you give an example?
Such as being more connected. I don't always feel connected, even among, my friends or family. I don't always feel connected. I kind of feel like I step back, but I'm a great introvert and hermit. So sometimes it's hard for me to reach out like that. But also just to be more in touch with spirit itself, and to feel that more and to get the messages more. I feel sometimes like I'm probably blocking myself from being even more open than I am now. So
I got you. I understand that.
Yeah.
One of the things that you were talking about earlier was for the inner peace and stuff like that was some type of meditation and everything. How often should we get quiet with ourselves and listen to ourselves in that matter?
Well, it'd be good if we could do it, in each now moment, get quiet and listen in before we embark on something that we're not so sure about. But to set some time aside every day just to catch up with yourself, whether it's meditating or sitting quietly or reading something inspirational or whatever it might be for you, even doing something, mindless, just to
bird watching, going for walks.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Binge watching something.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah. So I think it's important to set aside some time every day just to be in communion with yourself, however you choose to do it. Something you can do, something that's like a signal for you. Something as simple as just lighting a candle. That's like, okay, this is my time to, sit and just go through my day and release what I need to release and just come back into my center. However you do that, however you choose to do that.
So let's say a situation arises and it gets you kind of your feathers ruffled, so to speak, since we're talking about birds tonight. You get your feathers all ruffled and stuff like that. Instead of reacting, what do you do?
I cave. I go into my little cave and I surround myself with my cats, because nothing brings me back to center more than my animals do. Just being in their presence, I need to surround myself with them, because they are so, if you notice animals, they are so perfectly themselves. They're not thinking about pleasing anybody. Believe me. They're not thinking about, what's their agenda. They don't have an agenda. Their agenda is to get fed twice a day, and their agenda is really to remind me that it's time. So their inner clocks are remarkable. But yeah, just, if something happens with me, I am not somebody who's going to go talk to somebody else about it first. I may eventually, but I have to deal with it with myself before that. And sometimes I'll share and sometimes I won't. I just work it through for myself, or I'll write. There's no better therapist on the planet than paper and pen.
Yeah, that's a good one. I just got to get into the mindset of doing it. But let's say you've got somebody in your presence and your energy field 24/7, and they're just poking the bird constantly, and there's nowhere to escape.
Yeah, you got to take a time out, or give them a time out. Like, go do this or go somewhere. But you've got to take a time out so that you don't, completely lose your center.
Yeah. So I take it you don't live with anybody other than the cats, right?
3 cats. 3 cats. 3 cats. I've gotten smart over the years. 3 cats.
Oh, Sandy.
I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Don't live with anyone.
Nathaniel wants to know your date of birth, please. You just give the day and the month.
5/15. Tammy too. Tammy's my birthday twin.
Yes, we're birthday twins.
She's the extrovert. I'm not.
It cracks me up that you think I'm such an extrovert. I think I go both ways. I'm equal. I have extrovert and introvert. And
I'm introvert.
you're just all introvert.
I'm introvert. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm a full-blown extrovert. I really don't. I think I literally am like a 50-50 split.
Yeah, but you're more comfortable with it than I am.
Oh.
Yeah, being out there.
So yesterday I did a seminar with one of our guests that was on the show last week. The Scales of Justice was her seminar, which she's changing the name, by the way, Tammy, since she's been on the show, because it deals with the whole psychology of life. Now, it's not just about weight loss or anything it's about everything that you deal with life. And she asked us yesterday in class, what does forgiveness mean? Do you guys know the definition of forgiveness?
Do you have a definition?
Well, she gave one, and I'm going to share with it, but I'm just curious as to what you guys think that forgiveness is.
Forgiveness is letting yourself off the hook for hanging on to something someone else did or said or whatever, and you've held on to it.
So I like that. Tammy, what's yours?
I'm trying to envision it. For me, whenever I'm doing anything that I have to practice forgiveness, and the most famous thing I do is go to the Ho'oponopono. And
that's good.
And I always say it to the person's face until I find myself in what I'm asking for the forgiveness for and the other. It always brings me back to finding like myself. So, which comes back to we're all one and nobody ever did anything to begin with. And
right.
No, well, but go ahead, Sand.
So what she said is giving up the hope of changing the past, that situation. Basically what Lisa was saying. It's very interesting. And it brought tears to my eyes hearing that, because for somebody that has this great optimistic for the future and things that are going to be happening, and even in the present moment, you can also tend to have that optimism for the past too as well. But why should you when you can't change it in the first place? So I found that pretty amazing. And yesterday hearing that, and now how easy knowing that, again, it's just saying you can't change the past, but the hope, the giving up that hope of changing the past.
Well, I have to tell you that Vicki was a Science of Mind student of mine. She graduated as a minister under me.
Ah, nice.
Isn't that interesting, Sandy?
Yes, I love it. I love it very, very much. So yes, and she's a great orator, and she brought great emotion and feeling. And any of you guys, but Lisa, you just reminded me. So you guys, I see where that's coming from now. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool, huh? So she said forgiveness is giving up the hope of changing the past.
Yes, that situation, there's really, and then, like you said, there's nothing really to forget, right?
Forgiveness is not about forgetting.
No, I was just saying there's nothing to forgive.
Right.
Right.
Well, right. There's really nothing to forgive, because that person came into your life to show you whatever it was that occurred. So it's just that we hang on to those things. You think that person is, spending hours and hours and hours and going, oh, woe is me, I did it wrong, or, any of that. It's like taking the poison and expecting somebody else to die, So So it's letting ourselves off the hook
Resentment
for
is
what
taking.
we're. So it's just letting yourself off the hook for hanging on to whatever you've hung on to.
I totally I'm getting that now.
Yeah.
And along with giving up that hope of that is releasing the guilt that goes along with not being able to change the past too as well. But, or you should,
Right.
or just shoulda, woulda, coulda kind
Right.
of situation. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, releasing the hurt, the guilt, all of it. It's also
Right.
just releasing.
It was what it was. It was what it was, and just the ability to move on from there.
I got you. So Nathaniel, hold on, Tammy. Nathaniel said you guys are dream weavers.
Yes, I have that book.
Okay.
Yes. I am a dream weaver.
That's a hard yes, Nathaniel.
That's the birthday book.
But now I have this song running through my head.
Yeah, like, right.
All three of us have it going right now, don't we?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Nathaniel. That's Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't sing, so we're not going to do that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, that's really.
Right.
So, Lisa, when you have a new client that comes to get just energy work on your bed, what is the standard protocol for you? Like, what is the standard?
What do I do?
Yeah, in general,
Yeah. Well, I generally talk with them for, a few minutes about things that may be going on in their body, why they wanted to come. Is it just for, relaxation, or is it to release something? And generally, though, I don't need a lot of information. I just want to make people comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Most people wouldn't come for a Reiki session if they weren't comfortable with, energy.
Mm-hmm.
And even new people have some degree of, well, I'm trying this for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I've never had anybody come in here kicking and screaming. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, so.
But it's an overall balancing of the chakras and things of that nature, right?
Right. So what I do is I have an amethyst biomat.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
I love it.
I listen, I was on my biomat all day today.
Okay.
It's a heated mat that's filled with amethysts, and it's just yummy. And the energy is comforting is the word that I hear the most about the mat. But it's also can help to alter. It's a gentle detox.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's heated. So there are degrees of hot on that mat.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get up into the higher heats, it can help you to lose weight. But it's really good for structural issues that you've got going on, immune issues. I've had a lot of cancer patients on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a whole different energy unto itself.
Okay.
And so what I do is I open, clear, balance the chakras. And sometimes I'm guided to bring crystals onto the bed. Most people don't even know I've done that during a session because I'll put them on, take them off before, before I bring you out. I have a sound pyramid that I use, which is like holding all of the crystal singing bowls in your hand in a pyramid.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It's
I mean,
truly
you know,
amazing. It's,
yeah,
there's nothing like it.
right. So that, that helps to break up energy that may be blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I can feel. I can feel blocked energy. So, so I open and balance the chakras. That's what the energy does. And sometimes if a person has not gone into la la land really quickly, I will take them through a chakra clearing
Mm-hmm.
and how to teach people how to visualize the colors. There's colors and there's sounds and whatever associated with each chakra.
So what is the benefit to people though for clearing and balancing their chakras, for people that are listening that may not know that?
What's the benefit?
Yeah, like why would one want to do that?
To feel healthy, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
To feel like you're balanced in your body.
Mm-hmm.
To feel lighter.
Mm-hmm.
By removing excess energy that's there. I see people get off the table and they look, and this is true of both energy work and regression work.
Mm-hmm.
I see people get off the table looking 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they've released a load of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like having a colonics then, right?
Not that messy. It's not that messy. And I'm not asking people to get behind in their work here. So, they're just.
Well, Lisa, can you do this work remotely, or do they have to actually come to visit you?
No, I do it long distance too, especially in this past year. I've done a lot remote. I can either, and it's not an either or, but I can do either having you on the phone and putting you on the bed, putting the phone on the bed and working that way. Or I can put your name on a piece of paper and put that on the bed and work on you remotely. Most people like to be involved, and get a sense of feeling it. But I can tell people, I've given you an appointed time, and at that time, please go lay down, and I'll be working on you at that time, and and give me feedback later. So I have done that as well. But yeah, this is work because everything is energy, right?
Yes.
Right.
We're energy. Everything is energy. And there's no distance. There's no distance in energy. So I could work on somebody halfway across the world, and it's the same difference as if they're right in front of me. So it doesn't matter. All I have to do is, your name is your vibration.
Right.
As long as, I put your name out, and there could be a million Tammys in the world, but only you have your vibration that goes with your name. Right. So if I put the name out, then I know the energy is going where it needs to go.
I support that. Definitely.
Yeah. And with the regression, don't you have to do like hypnotherapy to bring somebody back in time?
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about hypnosis for a minute. All it is deep relaxation. People get freaked out by the word hypnosis sometimes. It's like I've actually had people say, "Am I going to leave here barking like a dog?" Like, no, that's not what happens. So it's just deep relaxation, and it's opening your mind, allowing what needs to be there, because your mind brings to you exactly what it is you need to know.
Nice.
So even if you think you're making it up, it doesn't matter, because that's what your mind has brought to you. And I have to say, and Tammy has probably heard me say this, I'm the biggest skeptic out there. With all the work that I do, I still remain skeptical about so many things. And I actually think it's what gives me my edge. But I do know that as long as you are open and willing to having an experience, you will have an experience.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. I really like the past life regressions. And they really do fill in some blanks for some people, especially if they're having some physical pains that they cannot even explain.
Mm-hmm. And what happens for me during a regression is that I am seeing what's happening along with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm there with you. And then that's when the information can come. And I just, fill in the blanks while you're telling me what you're experiencing.
Very interesting.
I was wondering if we could do a meditation.
Yeah, I'm happy to do a meditation if you would like.
Oh, wow. That would be lovely. I would love.
You had a question, Tammy. What was your question that was about to come out?
I think I was just going to inquire, like, what would be the most common thing that you see come up with regression work? Or is there I don't know. I mean, I haven't done, there tends to be common things and different.
Things do come in themes.
Yeah.
Like it seems like I'll have a group of people who come and they're all working on a relationship issue, or people come in and they're all working on a health issue or something like that. But I can tell you one of the most unique regressions that I ever did. And this was for a fella who was starting to experience what he thought was MS.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having stiffness in his joints and that kind of thing. So in the regression, he found himself in chain metal. Like, what is that? Medieval times?
Yeah.
Like
the metal from when they were white.
Yeah, like chain mail stuff. And he was riding a horse from a castle across a moat going, I guess, to fight in a battle. And the horse tripped and they fell into the moat and he drowned. And he brought a sense of failure from that lifetime with him into this lifetime. So because everything for me is about healing, what I had him do was literally to see himself taking that chainmail off, that heaviness, that burden.
Mm-hmm.
And with it, he saw one of his arms come off. But when that whole thing was over, oh my gosh, he looked like a different person. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty amazing. So, all right, what would you like a meditation for? What should we do? What should we meditate on? Inner peace, calmness, oneness?
Let's do Go, Sandy.
All three. Let's go for it.
I don't know. I thought she was going to say inner peace, but then I also was like, nope, Sandy's going to say all of them.
Yes. All right. So wherever it is that you are sitting, get into a comfortable position. Be sure that you are feeling supported by the chair or the couch or wherever it is that you find yourself. Just getting comfortable and taking some deep breaths. And just with each inhalation, allow yourself to go a little deeper inside and a little deeper. And just this feeling of relaxing and letting go any tensions of the day, letting go of any frustrations or anger. You can put them to one side and pick them up again if you feel it's necessary. But in this now moment, just to bring yourself into a place of calmness and peace. And so breathe in calmness and peace and quiet and serenity. And breathe out tension and stress and anxiety and fatigue. So breathe in calmness and peace and quiet and serenity, and breathe out tension and stress and anxiety and fatigue. And just feel yourself melting down into the cushions of wherever you are sitting or laying. And so let's claim for ourselves that in our lives, in this moment at least, that we are calm, that we are peace. In order for it to outpicture in our world, we first have to be it. So be the peace that you wish to see in the world. Be the calmness. Be the light. Shine your light. And be at one. And know that as we are in this collective, meditating together, that there is only one of us in the room. And just see what that feels like. To be in communion, to be connected to one another in this moment. And so on the next breath, envision our world sitting in front of you. You are gazing at the globe. And actually imagine that we are all holding hands together above the globe, floating above the globe, above our earth, and just sending love. Sending love, sending peace, sending healing to this planet, to heal not only the physical issues going on, but to heal hearts, to heal minds. And so wherever it is that you're sitting and seeing yourself floating above our planet, just put your hands out to the planet and send it all the positive, good energy, love, peace, serenity that you can. See it focused on this planet. See it focused on yourself because it's coming from you. And let's just sit a moment in the silence as we focus on Gaia, on planet Earth, sending it love and peace. And just know that in these moments together, that someone has had an aha. That somewhere, someone is having a health turnaround from a crisis that they've had. That somewhere, someone who was angry and upset is now calm and peaceful. Because as we send this energy, it goes to all those who are open to a higher consciousness, to doing and to being better than they were in the previous moment. And so claim it good and know that in these moments you are in service, not only to yourself, but to our planet and everyone on it. And we see peace, especially in Afghanistan. And we see that this COVID disappears into the nothingness from which it came. And we see that these hurricanes that are coming up now are minor, and that there's no damage or lost lives from them. And this is the power that we have within ourselves to change the course of events. And so now take your hands and put them over your heart. Giving thanks for who you are. Giving thanks to all that you have encountered and experienced in this lifetime to bring you to this day, to the person that you are now. And just giving love and appreciation and gratitude to yourself. And so just relaxing once again. And feeling your body. And coming back into this time and space. And when you feel ready to just open your eyes and be present. And so it is.
So it is. Mm. Thank
I
you.
actually have tears coming out of my eyes right now. I don't know. It just started, coming out. It was absolutely beautiful. And I could feel so much energy out there tonight.
Yeah.
And I do feel lighter right now.
Good.
I do. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, that's something that you can do for yourself at any time. Just take yourself into a little meditation, give appreciation for yourself, if nothing else, and bring yourself into a place of calmness and oneness and centeredness.
Very, very nice. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Oh, lovely, lovely evening.
I really appreciate being asked to be here tonight and to be with you all, and it's been fun for me.
Yay,
Yeah.
Lisa, it was so nice of you, your introvert self, to hang out with us on Facebook Live. No, seriously, Lisa, thank you for showing up. It's just it's really nice.
So I wanted to ask her, Tammy, for the people that are listening, I have put the website up on in here, and it's also in our notes and stuff like that. But all they have to do to reach out to you is just go to the website, or do you have an email address?
Actually, I would send them to my AOL account is the one that I check the most. But I do have an Inner Peace. There's an Inner Peace Richmond account at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And they can go to that.
Okay. Great. Innerpeace at richmond.com.
No, Inner Peace Richmond at gmail.com.
Oh, okay. Let me write
Inner
that
Peace.
in here.
Got it. Oh,
Or even is it okay to give my phone number, or shouldn't I do that?
I mean, you don't know who's going to call you off of here, but yeah,
Right.
go ahead. I mean, do you have a business number?
No, I have one number, so I won't do that. But just send them to Inner Peace Richmond.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Or you can find me. How about this? On Facebook, I have an Inner Peace page.
Oh, excellent.
Go to the Inner Peace page. And the way you'll know it's mine is that there's a green door on it.
Okay.
And that's probably the best way, because I'm a pretty good Facebook person. So my Inner Peace page on Facebook is where to go.
And it has a green door.
It has a green door. Yes.
All right, I'm getting it in there right now.
Thank you so much. Excellent.
Yeah.
That was nice, Lisa.
Thank you.
Good evening. And it's so nice that your friend Jeff showed up, I think, right? Like that. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. He said, I listened to this whole time. Just wanted you to know, Lisa.
Just FYI,
my
Lisa's been listening the entire time.
Wow.
Yes. There you go.
Tell him I'm open to
waiting
discussion.
for you to get the phone number. Kidding.
Well, he's got an email address to go to.
It's the green door.
There we go.
He can message me. He's on Facebook. So
awesome. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're very welcome.
You guys that are listening, this is going to be repeated all over. It's on YouTube, and also we're on Anchor FM. I'm going to be posting that tonight, and you can hear us on Apple iTunes and Spreaker, all over the board. So go back and listen to that meditation anytime that you need to get that inner peace going for yourself. And if you feel like you need to book a session with Lisa, I highly suggest it, because I tell you, I feel really lighter just that little meditation, but I can't wait to see what she does in a real session there. So
I love it.
Beautiful.
It's magical.
So Tammy, who's our guest next week?
We have
same name as me.
What's that?
Same name as me. Same first name as me.
Oh, Sandra Ward, right? I'm sorry. Yes.
She's awesome.
We have Sandra on next week. I apologize. I didn't have my calendar in front of me, and I was trying to guess at the next weekend. But we have Sandra Ward. She's a medium, and she's very, very, very interesting. You know her also, right, Lisa?
Yeah, I've had a session with her.
Yeah.
A mini session. She's good.
She's really good. Yes, I think it's going to be quite the enjoyable show. So please, everybody, join us again next week. And I guess we're probably just going to be wrapping up and saying good night, everyone. So thank you again for joining us, Lisa and
You're
Sandy.
welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.